Hello, this is Gusto11 or LC Hines, depending on where you're watching this. And this is my review of Superman Action Comics issue 0. Now, I got this a couple months ago when I kind of first started to get into comics. Just trying to expand, see what other kind of stuff there is. And I thought the issue zeros for the new 52s were an excellent choice for new readers because it's a standalone story, mostly origin stories. I have the issue 0 of Batwing, which I might review later because I really enjoyed it. But now let's talk about this. This is not an origin story of Superman, actually. Well, there are some things that first start off in this. Basically, well, first off, I'm just gonna get to this. He's not full-fledged Superman yet. As you can see, he doesn't have the costume. He's got the Superman T-shirt, the jeans, the work boots, and he's got the cape flowing epically in the background. And I think that's really cool. Where he's not like he hasn't become Superman, and I think it's really cool to see him kind of just getting ready to become Superman. In fact, you actually see him in this go to print his shirts. Basically, he goes to the shirt shop and he's like, the guy's like, actually, I might just read it off. And you want this printed on all of them? What is it? Some kind of college crest? And then, shows you Superman symbol. Which I find that interesting because that guy, he came to him. I think that guy later he's gonna know. Oh wait a minute, this guy's Superman. I met Superman. I know that guy, and I'm just thinking. I just find that kind of interesting. It's something that was in the back of my head when I read this the first time. But basically, it goes on to where Superman, Clark Kent is trying to get a job. Well, he's not Superman, yeah, obviously. He's trying to get a job, right now he's rooming with Jimmy Olsen, who in the New 52 universe is actually this rich guy. And basically he's a friend of Clark Kent. I don't know how they met, but yeah, I like their dialogue together. I think they work really well together. Jimmy's kind of angry, Jimmy, he's kind of this character. He's kind of got this dark undertone, and it actually shows up later. I think in the New 52 storyline issue 19. Jimmy is back. But I really like their dialogue together. I think they're pretty cool. Jimmy Olsen's been a pretty cool character. I like him. In various animated movies, all of his cameos, various things, and some of the comics I have of Superman, Superman issue 9. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen kind of has a cameo on that. But basically, Jimmy Olsen's pretty cool in this issue. But then it goes on to basically there are these guys who are having a meeting about guns or weapons or something, and then Superman, basically shows up and he's like, "Hey, stop it," and Superman gets a RPG shot at him, and he's knocked out. And then this kid comes along. This kid finds Superman. This kid comes along and he takes his cape. Now this kid is troubled at home. His stepdad or mom's boyfriend, beats him. He's a real jerk. And basically, the kid, he has Superman's cape, and he's trying to protect his brother. And the stepdad, points a knife at him. He's like, "Hey, stop it!" And the knife, it snapped. If you can see that, yeah, see, it snapped because he used the cape to protect it. Which I find interesting because the cape is invulnerable as well. I kind of like that. Even though I don't really think Superman would need it, because, he's Superman, but still, and then he punches the guy, and he's like, and, it really takes him hard because he uses the cape, and I thought that was really cool. And then later, Superman, he's doing his thing, and then he figures out, oh, my cape got stolen, and he's like, well, I'm gonna go find it. And then, the kid is at the train tracks, and Jimmy Olsen and, Lois Lane are there to catch Ryder. Yeah, or there to get a story. And the kid and his brother are hiding there, the kid with the cape. The dad comes along, or mom's boyfriend or whatever. And the kid pretty much tells him to stay away, and his foot gets caught in one of the train tracks. You can see there. And the dad's like, you know what? You've been, just let it happen. Basically, so the kid, he's, ready to take it. He thinks that, he's about to die, and then, bam! Superman shows up to save the day, and it's really cool. And there's this funny piece of dialogue where the kid's like, "Hey, can I ask you something, mister? What does the S stand for?" And then Lois Lane's like, "Superman," which I think is pretty cool, where Superman didn't come up with his own name. So that's pretty much the whole issue. There's this little side story that I didn't understand. That it was drawn well, that it was written well, but I didn't really get it. But yeah, Superman issue 0. I recommend it. Here's the thing about this issue is that it's kind of a side story with Superman. It's not a big part of the Superman universe. Like, it doesn't tap into anything. It's just kind of a single story. Like, it's mostly focused around the kids. Usually it's not even barely focused around Superman, but it's just a single story with Superman. Superman does something, and it ends. And even though it's really cool, it's really great. I really like the thing with the kid and everything. It didn't. This was when I first got into comics, and I bought this. I didn't buy any other Superman at that point because it didn't, pull me in, like at first. But now because of the Man of Steel trailer, and I got into some of the later stuff, I really like Superman. And I think he's really interesting because people complain about Superman saying, "Oh, he's just the most vanilla superhero. He he has no meaning. He's just he's just boring." Well, Superman represents pretty much the pinnacle of what humanity can be. He represents what people should strive for. Like the peak of humanity. And he puts himself there to inspire people. Superman's always been there to inspire good people to be better people. Batman's always been there to scare the bad guys. They kind of have the opposite uses. And Superman, it's difficult for him to do that. I mean, like, can you imagine just having all this power, having so much power, being able to do anything? He could take over the world if he wanted to. He could enslave all mankind, but he doesn't. Because he wants to be a symbol for good. And to me, that's the making of a really great character. And that's one of the reasons I like Superman. And Superman, to some extent, he is damaged. I mean, he's an orphan, pretty much. His dad died, like his Earth dad. He's got, he risks his life pretty much all the time for innocent people. I mean, it's not like he's a bad character. He's a cool character, and I really like him. And since I've been reading him, I think it's really cool, how he's portrayed. Superman. So that's it for Superman issue 0. I definitely recommend it. I recommend it more if you are already reading, if you're already a big fan of Superman and you've read a lot of his comics. But I still recommend it if you're a new reader, because you don't really need to know any previous information to get the story. But you might want to go for the beginning of a story arc in Action Comics or the Superman, like regulars, $2.99 ones. Yeah, thanks for watching. I recommend it.